Also, I'm sorry when I send you this recording if like you can hear, noises outside, or like as you know, I have like a very loud keyboard, so I'm doing my best to be as clean as possible.
Listen, on a scale of 1 to 10, I do not care.
Okay, cool. So if maybe the audience, if they hear, I mean, most times that I'm like live and I like type, everybody's like, oh, I love that like ASMR. So maybe if they do hear little clicky clacks, I'm sorry, guys. Okay, enjoy it. Sorry, you know me. Your listeners don't. I like to antagonize my audience.
A lot of my listeners actually know you.
Oh,
so
great! Cool.
I think we have a melding.
Oh, all right. Well, then you little biatches already know the vibe. You suck, and Carly's better than you, and you're gonna cry yourself to sleep, aren't you? I can tell. I can freaking tell, you little crybabies.
A few moments later.
Quaking in your little boots right now. Well, I tell you what, there's nobody better in this world but Carly, so you need to give it up. How's that?
You're so fucking corny.
I take it back.
Okay. No, like your keyboard though is so fucking aggressive.
It's so loud. Like here, I'm just gonna like very lightly type, like as if I'm sending you an email.
Okay.
Can you hear it? So if you're listening right now, guys, and you hear like little clicky clacks, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna do my best.
Oh my god! Like I remember one stream that you did. You were looking up a photo of Brad Pitt to state your case on why Joe Black Brad Pitt was the hottest Brad Pitt.
Yeah, and I stand by that.
Yeah, and that, I don't know if it was you got it new or what, but you start typing on that fucking keyboard.
It's just way
and
too
I'm
loud.
like, this is so aggressive over like who the hottest Brad Pitt version is.
Yeah, I need to get a new one. So I got this keyboard maybe about a year ago, and like I don't really care about mechanical keyboards or whatever. But I feel like they're just like all the rage. I like having like a full like 102 keys. Like I like having like the little like number pad on the right hand side.
Oh,
I also like having a lot of gaming keyboards on the left hand side will have like basically programmable keys, so you can like be like, oh, okay, when I click this key, it's going to do like Control Shift T, or something like that. So I like a big keyboard. And I got this, the brand, I don't know how to say it. It's EVGA. They're the same company that makes like power supply units. That's how I know them, like the things that power your computer and stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, well, that's a trusted brand. I've been using the same PSU for like 5 years. Great. Like a month after I got it, it just intermittently just dies. And it is also so loud, even though I tried to get the one that's like a little more quiet. I don't know if you know about mechanical keyboards, but
like basic.
Yeah, there's like blue, brown, red, and yellow switches. Like then that's like the key, and then that denotes like how loud it is. And so I think I got this one. I'd have to check, but I got the one that's like not supposed to be as crazy loud. And like this thing's so fucking loud. So I think I need to like get a new one.
Yeah, like I have I guess kind of a mechanical keyboard. I got it off of Amazon.
Nice.
When
Daddy Zazos.
We were starting to like prep. Yeah, when we were starting to prep for the podcast, I'm pretty sure it's just like a Logitech or something.
Yeah.
It does the job, but like
I like Logitech.
But like for work, I don't use any like most of, if not any of, the work equipment that they gave me, and primarily it is not because I don't appreciate it and don't like it, because thank you very much.
Yeah,
it's just I spent all this money.
It's better not to use the company devices, because when you use their devices, they legally are entitled to all of your communication on that device. Anything you did on that device, they own.
Right. Right.
And they'll often, like when you get like fired or whatever, they'll often like go through your messages and like use those for like disciplinary actions.
Right. And so I use like the computer, like the computer that they gave me, because that's the only way I can log into the system. But like the keyboard, the mouse, the extra monitor, I'm like, can I use mine?
Yeah.
Like you can have the laptop, you can have everything else. can I just use mine? Because otherwise I'd have to tear everything down.
Yeah, totally.
And then tear everything back up. Or I'd have to have 2 offices, and that's not cool. So, but anyways, my main point is they don't give us, like, mechanical keyboards for work. They're just, like, a little Bluetooth, tiny little rinky-dink thing. And so whenever I'm on, like, work meetings with my team, and I'm like, okay, guys, we're going to start training now. And then they just hear. And they're like, what's like, the one lady, I think she's probably in her 40s. And so she's just like, are you good? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just pulling up the information that you need for this task. And she goes, well, what's that noise in the background? Do you have, like, because she knows I have a cat. And so she's like, do you have, like, a crinkle toy back there or something? And I'm like, no. That's me. I'm so sorry.
Nope, that's just my keyboard, and I want you to know I'm an epic gamer.
Yeah, I'm like an epic gamer that plays 2K23.
No, that's great.
No, okay, not NBA, but I play like WWE 2K23.
That's awesome.
Like,
I was never like too big into like sports games.
You're valid.
Only because my older brother was into those, and anything he liked, I did not like.
Yeah, no, you're so valid. My brother and I were sort of the same way. It was like the second he found out I liked something, he's like, I actually really fucking hate that.
Yeah, that thing is actually the worst, and you're the worst for liking it. So
yeah. How far apart are, like, you and your brother, like, age wise?
2 and change. And I have a younger sister as well, and we're all like 2 and change apart.
Oh, that's nice. Like, I will say that is nice having, like, I guess, being a little closer in age. Like, my older brothers and sisters are like 10 or 15 years older than I am, and then my younger brother is 5 years younger than I am.
Oh,
so it's
okay,
like this,
got it.
It's like this weird gap when, like, you know, I'm graduating high school, and then my one brother is, like, turning 30, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm never going to be 30, and then I turned 30 last month.
Happy belated, by the way.
Thank you. And then my brother is, like, turning 25 next month. I'm like, okay, everybody stop.
Yeah, stop aging. We need to go back to bed, all of us.
Everybody go back to bed, get into the Disneyman freezer, like, just
hang out with Walt Disney, but, like, not in a weird anti-Semitic way.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Are you?
Exactly.
Have we talked about this? Are you Jewish?
No.
No, it's not bad to ask, or no, you're not?
Oh, no, I'm not Jewish.
Got it. Okay, got it. Because I feel like you and I have had conversations about, like, matzo ball soup. But you don't need to be Jewish to enjoy delicatessen.
No, I am not Jewish. I am a former evangelical Christian.
That's right. Okay, yeah, that's right. Have you already talked about this? Am I allowed to discuss it?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, great. I remembered, like, some type of, like, religious experience from you, and I couldn't remember if it was Judaism but that's right. You were part of the crazy cult people, right?
Yes.
And I'm only saying that because they treated you poorly, and I don't like that.
Well, I was going to say, they treat a lot of people poorly.
Well, you're my friend, and they are dead to me. Full stop.
Then I agree. Yeah, I was the sector of Christianity that Amanda and I were actually involved in. That's actually how Amanda and I met, funny enough. Our core group of friends are basically former members of the evangelical church, and if you're not familiar with these names, it's totally fine. Our sector of Christianity was like the Hillsong and Bethel. Yeah. Bethel's a big one in California.
Yeah, we had Hillsong out here because I'm from San Diego, and then also North Coast Church, if you're familiar. But I think I don't know if they are the same level of Christianity, but I know they are Christian.
Yes, and then there's I think they have there's a ton of like non-denominational quote unquote progressive churches, but to them progressive is like you can wear jeans to Sunday service. It's not really like
we're so progressive. But also, women still don't have high positions of authority inside of our organization.
They're like, those women better be talking to the other women or the babies because we don't want to hear their knowledge.
We don't want none of that.
We don't want lady knowledge.
What do the ladies know? Turns out a freaking lot, you idiot.
Fucking lot, man. But yeah, so that was the kind of sector of Christianity that we were involved in.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a really good, there's a couple really good documentaries that have come out recently. The most recent one is about the Duggars.
The Duggars?
And, yeah. Like, do you not know of, like, 19 Kids and Counting?
No.
Ooh. Well, before we do that, speaking of 19 Kids and Counting, hi, everyone. Welcome to the 20th inaugural episode of the Between the Fridges podcast.
Ooh.
My name is Carly, and obviously, Amanda is not here again. But that's okay, because we have a very special guest that is not Amanda.
Not
Amanda, though I miss her so much.
I can fine without her. Because it means I'm here.
So, sir, who are you?
Hello, my name is Zachary Cowan, also known as Cowman. Zach Cowman.
Zach Cowman. This is our buddy Zach Cowman.
It's me, Amadio.
Oh, no.
Speaking of Hillsong, Chris Pratt.
Yes. There's a documentary about the Duggars. 19 Kids and Counting, TLC. Are you familiar?
I'm familiar with TLC. I'm just assuming this is like a show of something about somebody who has 19 kids and they're super religious.
Yes, but I am so shocked that
I don't watch cable. I'm sure that this exists outside of cable. Wait, also to interrupt, I am sorry if you hear the clicky thing. My full attention is here, but I'm also multitasking just ever so slightly with my manager. You know how they are. They're like, well, you need to respond to me immediately.
Oh my gosh.
But I don't watch a lot of like cable kind of stuff. Nor do I watch like a lot of, I guess those kind of shows like TLC, HGTV, whatever the other ones are as well.
You're so valid.
Not that there's anything wrong with those, and I know a lot of people like them, just not my cup of tea.
Right. You see, I never did, but a lot of people that were friends of mine.
They got you in? They sucked you in?
No. A lot of people that were friends of mine in the cult era, they loved 19 Kids and Counting because they thought it was like the definition of like good Christian family values. So 19 Kids and Counting, you basically hit the nail right on the head. So they have, it's Jim Bob Duggar and his wife, Michelle.
Of course it would be a Jim Bob.
Yeah, literally his name is Jim Bob. And I think they live in Alabama or something. And Jim Bob and Michelle have, 19 kids.
And they're all natural? How did her
They are all
bits
natural
handle that?
And all of their names begin with a J.
That's just gross, I think.
So, like, I'm going to see because, my little cult brain doesn't remember all of them. So I'm going to consult our friend, Gene Oogle.
It's up by Gene Oogle. It's up by Gene Oogle.
So, as we've consulted Gene Oogle, I have found all 19 of the children's names. Are you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
Okay. We've got Josh.
Okay, Josh.
Jana. Yeah, Josh, Jana, John David, Jill, Jessa, Ginger, Joseph, Josiah, Joyanna, Jedediah, Jeremiah, whom are twins, by the way.
Okay.
Jason, James, Justin, Jackson, Johanna, Jennifer, Jordan Grace, and Josie.
What are these people's problem? They should do we need to be concerned? And they have a show now?
Well, they no longer have a show.
Okay, I feel like we sometimes reward the Octomom and stuff, and it's like we as a culture, I feel like are kind of responsible.
Yes, so this premiered in 2008 as 17 Kids and Counting, and in the duration of the show, they had gotten two more. Well, they had birthed two more kids. which led them to 19 kids and counting. The show got canceled in 2015. And then they had some spin-off series with, like, some of the girls, like Jana and Jill and Jessa and Ginger.
Okay.
Were in their own little spin-off show called Counting On because, you know, they were getting married and they were having kids. And so they were like, why not see what happens when they have kids?
Yeah.
So the show was on for, like, 10 years. But the thing is, what made them, I guess, really intriguing was the fact that they were considered a quiverful family.
Quiverful family?
Yeah, like quiverful. Like, you know how, like, a bow and arrow, like a bow, you have a quiver of arrows?
Yes.
So, a quiverful family. So, this is a movement that promotes, like, strict family conformity, male hierarchies, and subservient roles for women. And so basically it's a very stereotypical, like, the man is the patriarch of the household, the woman is the caregiver of the household, the wife's main job is to birth babies until she is no longer able to birth babies.
I hate this.
Yeah, they don't believe in birth control. Yeah, they don't believe in birth control because basically they say, like, basically God will turn off the fertility tank when he's ready. And apparently God turned off the fertility tank at 19.
Bro, I don't even, like, I just don't even know how she's functioning. 19 children? Like, how are you not in a wheelchair?
I have no clue.
That just sounds like such an intense toll upon the human body.
Yeah. And, like, a big thing, too, that happens in quiverful families is as the kids get older, at least with the Duggars, one of the things that they would do is they would partner one of the older kids with a younger kid. So they would have a quote-unquote buddy system. Okay. And essentially, the older kid was responsible in taking care of the younger kid.
Oh, they're like, hey, let's have enough kids to where we don't have to parent. It's infinite parent glitch.
Infinite parents. Like, this is great. So that was a huge thing with the Duggars. However, they got into huge controversy when trigger warning for child endangerment. Josh Duggar, who's the oldest son, he was kind of like the prodigal, you know, being the eldest son.
Sure, yeah.
They're like, oh, you're going to accomplish so many awesome things. Mm-hmm. And then they found, if you know what I mean by CP.
On the kids stuff? Or on the parents? Who had the CP? Who had the cheese pizza?
The oldest son, Joshua, had a lot of cheese pizza.
Of his siblings or just other cheesy pizza?
Both.
Oh my god, that's so gross.
Both, yes. And so, the first time he got a slap on the wrist. So by me saying the first time,
how
means
old was
there
he
was
during all this?
There was a second time. What, he was probably in his late 20s.
Oh no, dude, this guy's got to go to jail.
The first time. Well, good on you. The second time, he went to jail.
That's good.
Because they found, it was honestly, like, the worst way. Like, first of all, I found out about this, and I was like, yeah, he is from Alabama. So basically, he worked at a car lot, okay? And the FBI got some ring-a-lings and was like, hey, there's a lot of fucking cheese pizza in this area here.
Yeah.
And we're pretty sure it's Josh Duggar. And they were like, slay, we're on our way to confiscate the work computers. So they go to his place of employment. And Joshua Duggar walks out the door. And he looks at the police. And he said, there's a lot of police here. What's going on? You guys looking for cheese pizza or something?
What the heck?
Hey,
what's wrong with this guy?
Right. And then he insisted when they found his computer with all of the cheese pizza on it, he said, I think one of my buddies put it on there as a prank. Who would put that as a prank? Yeah. Joshua?
That's something I would do if I was trying to frame somebody.
That's somebody I would do to, like, I don't even know if I would even do it.
If there was a villain out there and I knew in my heart and I You know what? I would probably AI generate fake cheese pizza because there's no way I'm getting real cheese pizza. And then I would sneak into his place of business with one of those fancy USB. I'd plug it in and I'd go, hacker voice, I'm in. And I would play the CSI music. And then I would upload the cheese pizza everywhere. And then I would call the cops as I walk away out of the building. And I would pretend that it's like exploding behind me, but I'm too cool to like, look at it. That's my plan. So if you're out there and you're a villain, you better watch out.
Make sure you bring your super aggressive keyboard with you. So that you can, like...
People be like, oh, we can't bother whoever's in there. I don't know if he works here, but like he clearly sounds like he's up to some mad typing.
Sounds like he's got like a tech issue or something going on.
I just ordered a new keyboard before we got started. So we have successfully peer pressured me into finally crossing something off my list.
Listen, I would never peer pressure you. Have I ever... hold on.
Yeah,
backtrack.
Definitely.
Have I ever peer pressured you?
In the history of our friendship and you like being part of the community / moderating, I would say so. Maybe like at least once or twice. Jokingly.
Okay, I was like...
You've never like nefariously tried to like enforce your will upon me.
Am I gonna like point a gun at you and be like, you better fucking play Five Nights at Freddy's right now, bitch?
Well, I want to get back into gaming streams, so keep an eye out. Maybe I'll need that.
Right? And then I'll be there going, you better fucking play Five Nights.
You better fucking play this game right fucking now, or we're gonna have a big problem.
Oh my God. Like, if you don't play this game in the next 72 hours, I'm quitting.
I'm gonna lose my shit. Wait, am I allowed to curse?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So keep going.
Oh, that's it. I'm gonna lose my shit.
Actually, speaking of, you mentioned something about AI.
Oh, yeah. Well, you asked me to like just bring a topic today.
Yes.
Yes. And I was listening to the Markiplier podcast, Distractables. I don't know if you're into that.
Yeah, I love Markiplier.
Oh, okay, right on. Yeah, he's the best.
I love him. Like,
I'm very new to it. My partner showed it to me, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." So we were like listening to it today, and then I just selected the AI one because it's it's a very like intriguing thing, and they were just talking about how like obviously like the whole AI thing, like it's like super relevant in my industry, the entertainment industry right now with like writers and this and that. Mm-hmm. But then they went on to talk about how like it is like a very realistic future, and it can either be done now. Like, are we as like content creators like going to be out of a job? Like if there's like, because I'm all over the place, but there was this TikTok that I like to follow and it's called like it's called like World Famous Leaders. And it's like AI generated, like, say, Alexander the Great, like a bunch of different leaders. And it even has them speaking in, like, whatever voice they've associated with them. And, like, the face even moves and, like, while it's talking to you. And I'm like, yeah, we're not too far off from, like, AI, like, being able to just create content as anybody. Like, I don't know if you've seen the video of, like, it's, like, Leonardo DiCaprio giving one of his, like, keystone speeches. But every like 10 seconds, it changes voices to like Joe Rogan and then Barack and then Trump and then, Oprah. And it's like super convincing. And I'm just like, wow, like, yeah, what if we're going to be out of a job in like 2 years? Because everyone just listens to like AI generated content.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't seen so I've seen some of the videos, like they had like this quick surgence on my TikTok For You page. Of the U.S. presidents, like playing Minecraft.
Oh, yeah, yep. Mm-hmm. It's like Trump, Barack, and like Biden.
He's like, listen to me, Smelly Joe.
I'm so sorry. My body immediately rejected the Trump impression. Joking.
This is how we know that you're
Please continue. I'm done. I'm not doing Trump thing.
Listen to me. It's going to be huge. It's going to be the best. We're going to build a huge Minecraft wall.
And the Barack's like, I used to be able to do like a decent Barack. I think everybody should have at least a 5 out of 10 presidential impression in their back pocket all the time.
Yeah. I love that. I love that hot take. I don't know if I'd be able to do it, but I'll I'll practice for next time you come on.
Yeah, it's like it's like our American duty, honestly.
Right. Maybe I'll do like a George W. Bush. I think he's a classic.
Ooh, yeah. That's
I'll practice my George W. Bush for the next time you come on. So, but the whole thing about the presidents and all of that, I've seen a lot of discourse about more about AI art. Mm-hmm. Like, because I have a couple friends who are like they're artists. They do commission work and everything. Like actually a few friends of the podcast, Nina, Raiden, awesome artists. And like when I forget which app it was, I think it was like the Lensa boom at the end of 2022, when you would download this app called Lensa, you would put in like 25 photos of yourself.
Oh, yeah, I feel like this was one of the first like TikTok AI trends.
And then if you paid like $7, it would give you like 100 images of yourself in different scenarios and things. But then people found out that it was actually taking other people's artwork online and just like slapping your face on it. And at first, like, I know like that was something I had to be educated in, because at first I saw those things, and I will fully admit that I saw it and I was like, oh, like that's not that big of a deal. Like you're just slapping your face on it and it's totally cool. But talking to my friends about it, it was a really good learning experience to be like, actually, like this is kind of fucked up, because that's someone else's artwork, and you paid you paid $7, but you didn't pay that $7 to the artist who originally made the photo. You paid it to some company or whatever to slap your face on it, and then bippity boppity pizza, there you go.
Bippity boppity pizza.
But like,
I love that. I'm gonna start using that.
Good.
Hey, what'd you do today? Just bippity boppity pizza.
Boppity pizza.
Did you have pizza? I said bippity boppity pizza.
Boppity
what more do
pizza.
you need to understand?
But like, so it's a really interesting like conversation to have, because really it's like, okay, I could pay that $7 to have a computer do it, or I could pay $7 or $20 or whatever to somebody who's going to put the time and the effort in to actually make something from the ground up. It's totally. The whole thing, not to be like the modernized millennial and like it's all about getting it now and the here and now, but really it's this whole instantaneous feeling of I want this and I'm going to get it right now, and not like for some commission work that I've purchased, it's sometimes I'm waiting a couple weeks to get a piece of artwork back or a video back. Sometimes it's going to take a couple weeks, but I think people are so autonomized of needing something immediately and in the now that it is really scary for those people who
totally,
and
Distractable, they were kind of talking about it like also from like a corporate angle. Like corporations, like they don't care. Like they see it as like two ways. Like go with a traditional artist, spend that money that they already don't want to spend, have all the back and forth, wait for timelines, whatever. But, if you have like an accessible AI that's free or relatively free, time and time again, they were talking about, kind of like anecdotally, they're freelance, and, they're kind of the tagline they're given by companies is like, hey, like, we understand that we're losing quality on this, but, you can't compete with zero cost. And an AI can do all these things that much quicker. So it's like, well, do we go about this the right way, get a high quality product, or do we just do it for free, quick and easy? And if it's not great, like whatever.
Right. There's actually, speaking of that, corporations and companies and AI and all that, I remembered reading this story a few days ago on it. I just pulled it up. There's a company, it's a gaming company, I think it's called Rayark. And they usually like develop like rhythm games and like dance games. They actually laid off, it looks like, a good amount of their design team, and they're like for the covers of their games and their artwork, and they're replacing it with AI generated bots to make the cover art for all their games now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? You know?
Yeah, it's like, it's real terrible, because I was like, I knew I saw this recently, so I'm glad you brought this up. And I was like, yeah, because a couple people that were like former employees of the company, somebody here on Twitter saying, as a former art director of Citus 2, that's one of their rhythm games, I feel a little bit disgusted seeing all the efforts and quality control we did turning into some shoddy AI bullshit. To be honest, I'm so glad I left. I love that for you, King. Or Queen, whoever you are. I love that for you, Mr. Square Rectangle Circle Bot. I'm so glad you left too. But yeah, it's insane how quickly I mean, who knows? Maybe there was AI discourse happening in the background that I just was not knowledgeable of. But I feel like it evolved so quickly.
Oh, absolutely.
It was like December, everybody's like, hey, let's put $7 in this app. And now it's like, let's have the $7 app take over all of our jobs.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy what it's like getting into these days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's...
And like I see both sides, but it's like,
yeah,
I feel like so much of the public is like not necessarily like understanding as to like people that are at most at risk, because like I feel like one of the big things that's being thrown around is just adapt, you know, just adapt, like you know, if that's what free market is, like just integrate it. And it's like, well, what if your job is to have a podcast and like just be yourself and talk about that, but now here's this like free thing that can also do that. And because there's, you know, in my case, like there's hundreds of hours of content that I've made that's out there, you know, you could put that into a program and it's be like, cool, I understand the Cowman brand. Now I can like replicate that. It's like, well, how do I adapt, you know? And also like, maybe I don't want to lean on machine learning. Like I want to continue to support other artists, like say, you know, in the case of like making a new logo for a podcast, like, you know, you could probably just get something that's easy enough from an AI and tell yourself that like, oh, I'll work with an artist eventually. But it's like, now that that is an option, you know, what do the people do whose livelihoods are kind of at stake?
No, exactly. And that actually, the point you were making about, you know, content creation and how that's going to look in the future due to AI, you know, the content farming YouTube channels that are out there right now, like some of the ones that I can think of, I think like common ones that people would know are like Looper and Your Watch Mojos and all that. But then there's also like newer ones that have been coming around, like Anna Oop, she's like a tea gossip channel. Sunny V2, who got into a lot of controversy recently with their Mr. Beast takes. But those channels as well, I think in some ways are very similar. Like they could kind of in some ways be grouped into this, because what's happening is, you know, they're guising themselves as like a 1-person operation or a 2-person operation. But they have like a whole team of writers and editors and researchers, all these people that are supporting the channel, but then they have, you know, one narrator. But in our brains, we're like, oh, it's just this one guy shelling out all this content. And so people that are seasoned veteran commentators on YouTube, like really influential voices on the platform, are slowly getting less engagement, slowly getting less views. Why? Because, you know, Sunny V2 already shelled out a video on this like 3 hours after it happened. But the real 1-person operation is like still writing their script. That's just something I've noticed recently.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't like thinking about I don't like thinking about you getting laid off.
Oh, I know. You know, I think ultimately like it won't necessarily get to that point. It might. I mean, this is just like my hypothesis. I think the people that are going to be able to utilize it will utilize it. I think it will create space for new opportunities. But I think the people that are most at risk are maybe like traditional like visual artists.
Yeah.
And also, I do think it's going to open a whole new avenue of like exploitation. Like, are you familiar with like the those companies that just copyright strike everything on YouTube? Like anything that they like even have like a small claim to, and they try to just like take revenue. And there's like full agencies dedicated to this.
Yes.
I feel like it's gonna be kind of like that kind of thing, but with like AI, and it's gonna be like you were just saying, like can we become like the Walmart of like content creation, like increase that barrier to entry, because it's it's not necessarily difficult to make content. The difficult part is like getting an audience to be interested, or building a platform to where you have that capacity. But like you said, like we're just not going to be able to keep up with like the workflow of it all.
Like I was saying earlier, especially with how I think on demand our content is, I feel like maybe this is I guess going to reveal more about myself than it is about anybody else in the world. As someone with ADHD, if I'm not like sitting and vegetating, I know I need something in my little goofy goblin gamer brain to just kind of keep it moving and going. But we're all essentially like 5-year-olds with our iPads watching Cocomelon. Like Cocomelon got a lot of fucking episodes. But that's the thing. When we run out of Cocomelon, what the fuck are we gonna do? And I think for some people, we get to this point where it's like, okay, well, what's next? Well, what's going on? Like, I know I go down like a YouTube hole because I'm just trying to find something to fill the void with. And in some ways, like, I think some of the future content, though it may not be great, I think it'll be good enough if it's like, I can't even talk, if it is made with AI. Cause I mean, I've seen like a couple, like I said, Sunny V2 is the one that I always go back to. Maybe I have a vendetta against Sunny V2, but
secretly hate them.
Well, yeah, there's this really nasty video actually that Sunny V2 made. I don't know if you had seen it, about Mr. Beast. Do I watch Mr. Beast content?
I don't think so.
I'm like, do I watch Mr. Beast content? No. Jimmy, you go out there and you give your money to people. Maybe it's just because I grew up in the church, but we kind of, I guess one thing that I took with me is if I'm going to do charity for somebody, that I'm not going to bolster it around and be like, look at me, I'm doing nice things for people. But I know that he and I probably grew up differently. What he's doing is not wrong. It just, to me, I'm like, ooh, I don't know. But regardless, Mr. Beast has a friend named Chris, and Chris recently came out as transgender.
I do know about this, but I don't think I even know who like Sunny is.
Sunny is essentially a faceless YouTube channel. Similar vibes to, you can tell I spend way too much time online with all the names I'm throwing out, and I apologize. Names like, they're a faceless YouTube channel. They do like sort of long form, more like short form. Their videos are usually 10 to 15 minutes. Similar vibes to like The Right Opinion, Jay Aubrey, Pinely, these guys, D'Angelo Wallace, these guys who do like long form commentary essays. But Sunny takes their videos and knocks it down to like 10 or 15 minutes. Easily digestible in the modern era. Now, Sunny V2 a couple weeks ago, maybe at least a couple months ago at this point, made a video, no joke, about how Chris coming out as transgender was going to ruin Mr. Beast's channel.
What?
Yes. If you want to kind of keel over and go, what the fuck? I highly recommend you watch the video later. There's not very great takes. Basically, Sunny talks about how Chris coming out as transgender is going to cause political political discourse to happen on the channel. That Jimmy is not one to be like in drama and stuff, and the fact that Chris is putting themselves in a vulnerable position by showing their words
by being themselves.
Their words saying showing off their sexuality and
oh my gosh, dude.
live on camera is going to ruin the branding of Mr. Beast. I'm like, that Jimmy sneezes $100 bills. I'm sure
definitely.
Jimmy is fine. Let Chris live. Like, I'm all about let people live. Like, Chris is not hurting anybody and he's not hurting himself.
Yeah.
Like, let them live. Like, but yeah, so if you would like to, or if any of you out there would like to keel over, first of all, I apologize.
I felt
brain rot watching I watched it like 3 times, and every time I felt brain rot. So, Sonny, you're welcome for like my 15 cents that I gave to your little bank account. But I'm like, what the fuck? Like, there were so many times, like, and I watched it multiple times just so I could go back and go, did I just hear that right?
Am I understanding this?
And like, the big thing that I guess not taking away from the video, but it was like the biggest thing that he said, like that Sonny said, that like made me want to jump out my window was how Sonny was talking about how, and I quote, like something along the lines of there are people that will reject LGBT characters if they are too saturated in the content that they're watching, like forced queer characters. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to it and I'm like, but wait a minute, Chris of the Mr. Beast universe is not a character. Chris is a human being. And so why are we taking Chris, the human being, and going, what? Why are they like queer baiting though? Why are they putting...
It's also like my understanding, like I've watched a few Mr. Beast videos. I feel like I used to watch more consistently like when the whole like tree thing was going on, like the Ann Arbor was planting a million trees. But like I guess I just don't understand the logic of like this person is just being true to themselves. How are they pushing an agenda? And also like it's Mr. Beast's videos. Like if he wants to have his friends in it, then like that's his prerogative. Like,
right.
I guess I just don't even fully comprehend the logic.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I know that, like, at least the past couple months when it comes to Mr. Beast, I've been hearing him around a couple times of, like, between this whole, like, Chris thing and Sonny, and then when I think the non-binary legend themselves, Elon Musk.
Wait, Elon Musk is non-binary?
Okay.
Or is this just a joke?
No. Okay. So Elon Musk. Okay. So there was some, NB Musk posting tweets about being like, oh, like making fun of the left and being like, oh, you're all brainwashed, yada, yada, yada. Somebody tweeted at Elon and said, we cis people are explicit about pronouns on top of visual cues in order to help normalize their expression for those who might not be cis. Simple as that. And Elon Musk responded to this tweet saying, I'm not cis, you are. And so everybody, and me, was like, wow, non-binary legend. We love you, Elon Musk. Like,
you're still a unethical billionaire, but thank you for not being a man, I guess.
Like, we love you. We don't love what you're doing, MB Musk, but like, be who you are for your pride. Happy Pride Month, MB Musk.
Happy Pride. I feel like he just. I feel like he used to be like a Trump tweeter, like back in the day. Like he'd be tweeting at like 3 a.m. and he'd be talking about how he'd be taking like Ambien and like drinking. So I feel like I mean, who am I to say how Elon Musk identifies? But I have to assume he's like just trolling. He is like a genuine troll.
Yeah, he's a
like he's chronically online for sure.
Yeah. Like I know I can admit that I'm chronically online, but
I'm
not
chronically online
like
for sure.
I just really enjoy my content online. I literally have an obscure Thirst Edits Twitter thread because it's all my fucking TikTok For You pages right now. Is just obscure. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? Why do you think I'm into this? Like, why do you think I'm into this? Like, I think the one that I do have my Twitter up. Oh, amazing. Is, and I started this thread on Twitter for myself. I'm not trying to go viral. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm like, I just need a log of all these. So, okay. So some of the weird, obscure thirst edits I got. And if you like these people, if you're like, I would love to kiss them, that's amazing. Some of the weird thirst edits I've gotten are Mike Myers. In particular, during the 1993 premiere for Sleepless in Seattle, the ladies love 1993 Mike Myers.
Okay. Interesting.
I got a ship edit of Luigi and Bowser from the Mario movie. Why my For You page thought I was into that, I don't know.
I love this.
I got a thirst edit.
Random things.
I got a thirst edit of the wolf from Puss in Boots to a Chase Atlantic song, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Okay.
I'm like scrolling through some of them. I got a thirst edit of Mo from the Doodle Bops.
What is your For You page?
I don't fucking know, man.
I mean, hey, they say it's customized to you, so I think you have some splaining to do.
So, I'm actually going on Reddit and listening to audios of Mo Doodle Bob. I'm kidding.
As you should.
Right? Oh, and then I also, a couple days ago, found one of Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory to Ash Nico. That one made me have a brain aneurysm, but I was like, I need the girlies to see this.
Yeah, I need something to
the girlies
watch this
being
out.
Another friend of the podcast, Jeff. I can count on them to like every single one of these Thursdays edits. When in doubt, I know Jeff is there. I'm like, thank you. Thank you.
We love to see you, Jeff.
Speaking of Jeff and your fans,
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced fan behavior? Like I'm sure you have been on the receiving end of fan behavior. Have you ever given fan behavior? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I absolutely have.
Okay.
I actually first of all, I feel like I give fan behavior to like my friends. Like I'm like in love with my friends and I think they're like literally the best. But I feel like I've given fan behavior. I have this friend. We like met in college.
Okay.
And like immediately, like I'm a freshman. I think he was maybe a year above me, maybe not. His name's Don Allen Stevenson III. You can check him out. He does content and stuff.
Okay.
But from the first day I met him, I was like, this dude just gets it. Like I like the way his brain thinks. We both worked in residential life. I was an RA.
Yeah.
And I remember I like sent him a Facebook message, you know, and this was probably like 2017 maybe. Or no, sorry, like maybe like 2013 because
sure.
I was in college 2012 to 2016, so around there. Mm-hmm. And I just was like, hey man, like I just want to let you know, like I really like your work. You know, I like the way, I think I formatted it a little less fan girly, but it was still very fanny. Sure. And I was like, I love your work. Like, you know, let me know. Because he was like a filmmaker and I was an actor. I was like, you know, if you ever need somebody, you know, to act, like I'm more than happy. I think he just left me on red, you know? Uh-huh. Fast forward. And, you know, we had conversations here and there. Like, he was in the film program, I was in the theater program, but he was also like a tech whiz. You know, fast forward, I don't know, like 6 or 7 years. I have now moved to LA. I'm pursuing acting full time. I see him like post on somewhere like, hey, you know, I'm moving to Burbank, which is, you know, in LA County. let me know if anyone wants to like hang out. And I immediately sent a message. I was like, yo, man, like, welcome. I've been here for like 2 years. Let me know if you want to like get lunch or drinks and, just chat, pretty common. Right. And so we wind up like grabbing a drink. This dude like basically like manifested this like crazy awesome job at DreamWorks. He's still in his like early 20s. My understanding of the job is they were looking for someone who was like proficient enough to like learn new softwares and then like teach their team. So he was just showing up to DreamWorks, people that had been working there for decades, and being like, yeah, let me lead this presentation on this software that I taught myself 2 weeks ago, and I can now teach these people that have been animating. And he works on like all the big movies. And anyway, so Don Allen, if you listen to this, I still think you're like crazy, like smart and like just like on top of it. And like in his free time, like you can check out his content, he just teaches himself like new softwares. Like I know for a while he was working in like augmented reality, and he just does these like free learning live streams for anyone to join. And he's like deep in some program that he's been fiddling around with for a week or two, and now he has like heavy expertise in it. Just one of those like wicked smart guys.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've definitely fanned over this guy before.
That's cool. Like I love seeing when people can just like pick up a skill, like either like super quickly or whatever, and it's like, oh, you're so good, and then they're like, oh, I learned this last week. I'm like, what the fuck?
Do you have any friends like that? Like I had a college roommate. It's like, and maybe this is more of like a male presenting archetype, but maybe not. But like, there's like that one male friend that like is just perfect at everything. Like you teach them. They've never played billiards before, and your dad taught you in 6, and you play with them once, and then the second time they smoke you. Just like those like everyday kind of guys that just like walk in and just are like effortlessly good at like everything. Do you have anyone like that in your life?
Yeah. We had a buddy who Amanda used to work with him, and I remember when we met for the first time, I was like, oh, it's just like, no offense, I'm like, he's just like some white dude, okay? Me as the white person calling somebody a white dude, I'm like, cool, like he's just some white guy, okay? And then she tells me like Amanda's dad's birthday is a day before mine, and so for his birthday like a couple years ago, she got him like a grill, okay? And so she goes, yeah, like I need help with this grill, and he goes, I'll figure it out, I'll build it. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. And then Amanda comes home, and I was like, how did the grill building go? And she goes, great. He actually even started cooking on the grill, and I was like, hello? What? He knows how to grill? And then a couple weeks later, we go to his house, and he has like, all this like tech stuff, and he's talking like he was the one who told me some like basic stuff about editing, like video and
just like a freaking renaissance.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? And then he's like, oh, by the way, I know the entire history of Oliver Tree. And I was like, what the fuck is Oliver Tree? Oh, and then he's like a beer connoisseur. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
it's just people like that exist, and it's like they're like they have like a certain type of energy that like nobody hates them, because they're not like a know-it-all. Like they literally, and I got a buddy and another guy, a friend of one of my best friends.
Sure.
His name's Doug King. Just like one of those guys that just was like just so naturally smart and gifted. But something that always earns respect from me is if I can tell someone is like highly intelligent or like, like very specifically talented in something, but instead of like using it as like a point of pride, subtly mentioning they go to Harvard, like their full intent is to just make other people feel supported, and use their own skills and knowledge to like make them feel elevated, or like that's just that person you're talking with and you're like struggling with a concept or a word, and they just so politely like offer it up to you and like make you feel better and smart, and I'm just like, damn, dude, how do I get to be like that?
Right? Like, in life, at the end of the day, like, at least to me, my job here is to at least do the best I can to uplift people, whether that's in knowledge or encouragement.
Ignore women obtain currency?
What?
Ignore women, attain currency?
Yes.
You know that meme?
Yes, I know exactly.
FBs get money, you know? I ain't saying she no gold, you know?
Yeah, gold digger, you know?
Yeah. That's, at the end of the day, life is just all about ignoring people and obtaining currency.
Exactly. See, you get it. You get it. And this conversation definitely took a left turn than what my brain was thinking of. Because,
sorry, I took us off the rails.
Listen, I don't care. I loved your answer. It was perfect. What my brain was thinking of though was and I know in some ways, I would, if I had to, other than, business reasons, because I'm glad to know that you consider us friends. Amazing. But I do also know that part of for me, I just answer everybody's stuff on social media like I've known you for 100 years. I do that all the time, and I've been thinking of this recently.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sure, at least to you, or maybe there's somebody else out there, I don't fucking know. I will answer everybody's Instagram story like I've known them for 100 years. Like somebody, I don't know, Brittany Broski will post her shoes, and I'm like, oh, girl, cool shoes. Where'd you get those from? Yeah. She's never gonna answer me, but I just love.
I love those TikTok trends where it's like Justin Bieber's DMs are he's my therapist.
I don't do that. I'm just like, hey, nice kicks, King.
I don't really drink anymore, but when I used to socially drink more, and sometimes I do this when I've had a gummy, but I would just be on my phone on Instagram, and when I was slightly drunk or inebriated, I would just do that. I was responding to people's stories, even people that I just met once or twice, and I'm just such a happy drunk 99% of the time. So I would just be gushing over my friends and people, and just having totally one-sided conversations, and then they'd wake up the next morning and be like, thanks, Zach, and I'm just there I just want to let you know, man, that I'm so proud of you, and I think you're doing so great, and this photo of your food was just really well done.
We're definitely one of the same, because I'm pretty sure I did that to you once, and I got so
absolutely.
lost.
I loved it.
I'm like, oh my God, King, I'm so sorry. I don't know what the fuck happened.
I loved it. I feel is this part of the podcast where we get a little real?
Yeah, we can get real.
I feel and you can just tell me to shove it, and I'm totally up. This is just my perception as someone that is your friend, but again, I recognize that I'm a full online friend, but also someone that you've pseudo worked with, I guess.
Sure.
Or at least collaborated in an administrative faculty.
Right.
I feel we are one and the same, that we both are big people pleasers and pretty anxious beings. Does that feel accurate to say?
Yes.
I don't want to enforce my own diagnostic of myself upon you. But because we are the same, I feel I have such an insight or empathy when you're when you send me that, and because I've been in that situation being oh, did I overstep, or even with this podcast being hey, I didn't want to assume that you wanted to do this, even though I know that we'd had several conversations about it, but I just want to assure you from my perspective that I've never had even 1% bad feelings from anything that you've said or done. You've been nothing but an amazingly supportive friend. So I just wanted to take the moment to assure you in that you can do no wrong in my eyes.
Shut the fuck up. I don't want to cry right now.
You're going to make me cry right now.
Cry, bitch. No, no, you're totally right. I know that I'm a huge people pleaser of
samesies.
Yeah.
We love to see it.
And I know that partially I know this because, not to bring it back to religion, but you didn't grow up religious or anything at all, right?
Not exactly. I did go to a non-secular school. I went to a Lutheran school from pre-K to 5th grade.
Sure.
And so I was going to chapel every Wednesday, and occasionally we would go to sermon. So I did grow up with that. One of my subjects was religion. You learn math, science, art, religion, whatever.
Right.
But that being said, my parents were not they grew up really Catholic, and we're talking rulers across the knuckle from your teachers Catholic. So it was just important to them that they were like, we're not really going to like enforce this upon anyone. But the schools in my area in like North County, San Diego, especially, I guess like 20 odd years ago, were not necessarily the best. So they elected to go to like a non-secular school. So I guess that's a long story long for saying like, I'm not religious. I don't consider myself religious. I don't even feel like I grew up religious, but I grew up in a religious environment, I guess.
No, that makes total sense.
So I know my Bible. I know my fable.
You know your John 3:16s.
I know my 10 Commandments.
I
know about Noah and King Saul and, obviously David and Goliath and Cain and Abel. And I know about the disciples. And I know that Jesus was gay, honestly. That's my favorite thing to say to religious people. I'm like, hey, Jesus was gay, right? And they're always like, what?
Jesus?
What? And they get all mad.
Jesus?
And I say it to... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I live... I guess I'm not supposed to dox myself, but I live in a very touristy part of Los Angeles County. And I feel comfortable saying county because there's like how many millions of people here, and it's gigantic.
Right.
But I live in a very touristy section, and as people know, in touristy sections of major cities, there's often... like, soapbox people, people that have a megaphone and are proclaiming different things. And there's often like the Jesus people, and not the people that are like praise Jesus, the people that are like repent for your sins or you're going to be damned for all of eternity. And so my favorite thing to do when I'm walking by is to just so quietly say, like I'll just walk by and be like, yo, Jesus was gay. And they get so offended. And then I'm just like, dude, like the guy hung out with 12 other dudes. He enjoyed washing their feet and he freaking like loved all men. Like it's in the Bible. Like Jesus loves everyone. Right. He loves all men.
And here's the thing too. Okay. Mm-hmm. He had a favorite disciple. I don't know.
And he was open-minded. He married a sex worker.
Right. But that's the thing that always got me was, you have all the other disciples, right? Mm-hmm. And then
who was his favorite? Peter?
Then you have one who was John, because John was if you read the book of John, and it
reads like Twilight, huh?
Right.
It's like a love letter to Jesus.
It's only in the book of John. So like there's the 4 Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Matthew, Mark, Luke, they kind of essentially refer to themselves as themselves, but John refers to himself as the one whom Jesus loved.
Ooh. Oh, yes. Yeah. Because my middle name's John, and it means, like, with God's love.
Yeah. Yes. So he was renamed John, and it means the one whom Jesus loved. So I think they, like, probably kissed. I love parade men.
Oh, yeah. One of them had to, like, suck Jesus's cock, right? 12 guys, especially back in, like, Roman times. Like, that shit was going down, for sure.
If it wasn't John, the one who Jesus loved, it was definitely John the Baptist.
Oh, absolutely.
It was definitely that like, dirty man, John the Baptist.
Dirty man, John.
So my point in asking you if you were religious was...
that we could talk about how I believe that Jesus is gay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was that... So in my cult era, one of the things that they taught the women of the church is... I was literally just talking about this with a friend earlier today. They call it like the joy method, JOI, and each letter of joy represents something. It's supposed to be an acronym. So, and it's supposed to be the hierarchy of where you place the people in your life. So, and it's very simple. J is for Jesus. Jesus comes first. O is for others. They come after Jesus. And Y stands for yourself. And that, especially like in a culture where...
Yeah. Put yourself third.
Yes. Not even put yourself third.
Last.
You put yourself last when
You mean nothing
when no
to
one
anyone.
Else, yeah, when no one else needs to be served, which never happens. When no one is in need of help anymore, which never happens.
Right.
Then think of yourself, because otherwise you're selfish. Now, again, I'm not saying that is true. That is just the rhetoric that I was told and that I was taught. So, you know, my church stories.
You know, I feel comfortable making a proclamation. That's wrong, guys. Take care of yourself.
Yes.
Put yourself above. Overfill your cup so that it flows onto your neighbors. Don't pour from your own cup.
Yeah. And
if you got a problem with that, you can reach me via email.
as the legend RuPaul Charles has said, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else?
Yeah, how are you going to teach? Because we have to, for better or worse, like even with your soulmate, to some degree, and this is my opinion, obviously, you have to teach the people around you how to love you.
Right.
Otherwise, they're just going to love you how they want to be loved. And that's, you know, like say for instance, like I appreciate acts of service. So that's what I give when I give out love, right? So if you don't teach the people around you, like, oh no, this is how I am loved. This is how you can make me feel loved. They won't know how to do it. And if you don't love yourself, how can you teach someone else to do that? So, as the legend said.
Yes. So I know for me, like a big part of my people-pleasing nature does come from the fact that I'm still deconstructing from morals and values that I had from that time in my life.
Sure, yeah, totally.
And because, you know, my time in the church is very different from most people. I started going when I was like sporadically as a kid.
Sure.
And then regularly when I was 14, I had a pinnacle moment in my life happen, and then I just got sucked in after that because I felt like I needed
that community,
community of people, because I was like, wow, nobody else gets me, and they're like, but God does.
Yeah, and that's how they kind of like get you. And like, you know, I don't know if you've watched any documentaries on like Scientology and stuff, but like a lot of their centers are opened up next to hospitals.
Yes.
In towns where people move young, so in Los Angeles, like wherever they can find vulnerable populations.
Right.
And I'm not, I don't want to like give a blanket statement that like this is bad, because like obviously like we need community, and like that's how we function.
Right.
As humans, but yeah, like from a sales perspective, if somebody is only trying to find customers that are like vulnerable, then it's like maybe you're selling something that, you know, you shouldn't be selling.
Exactly. Like, I know that there's still that part of me that I think is always going to carry like the morals and the values of God, like treating others the way that I want to be treated, and giving compassion to people that I don't understand, and you know, not like being slow to anger, and you know, just
right. Yeah, all that stuff. A book of metaphors. It's a great book.
And it's great. And I think in a way, like, I think that's even away from the church, I think it's those morals and values has helped me have like a solid foundation of self. However, there's a lot of toxic rhetoric that is still being taught, like, you know,
100%.
The joy model of, you know, that I'm still working through. I left the church in 20. I want to say my first.
A lot of religious organizations like views on like women and like gender roles.
Oh yeah, and we could have a whole episode like over all of that, because that's stuff that like my friends and I have all experienced of women's roles in the church, and seeing like quick anecdotal story about like the LGBT community. We had a friend who was serving with our young adults group, and she cut her hair short, and they started asking if she was gay because she cut her hair short, and originally she said no, and then eventually she came out and she's like, yep, I'm gay. And our little friend group were like, yeah, that's awesome, amazing. The leadership found out about it, and they actually kicked her off of their serving teams because they said that she was not a good representation of the group as a whole. And that basically she could join again when she was straight. And that did not put a great taste in her mouth. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, totally. all she's doing is like controlling the lights for the worship service in the background. Is that
yeah?
You think that?
No, you're gonna get your gay cooties on the lights,
and then I'm gonna be gay. Like, whoa!
Yeah, it's gonna. Everybody knows that gayness is transferable through light,
right?
And that's why we send gay people into space.
Right. Why aren't I there then?
Well, they're trying.
Well,
if, you know.
Well, they knew that
if Mr. Religion had their say,
right.
then
they knew that it was just like a little bit. So they're like, okay, she's like probably gonna be in the back of the line. We know you.
They're like, maybe we'll send her to the moon. Maybe.
They're like, okay, you like men still, so like you can.
Yeah, if you just pretend, we can just ignore.
You can wait till the gabies go up there first, and then what? If we have enough room, we can shoot you.
You're lower on the list, but they're gonna get you
eventually. Oh shit! Oh my god. Well, hey. Speaking of being gay, happy Pride Month. First of all,
happy Pride. And listen, if you're gay, happy Pride.
Yes.
And if you're not gay, then I hope you have a terrible month. I want you to know that. Everybody who's straight out there, it's not your month. You might as well just call it quits already.
Literally. You know what? I hope the people of this podcast know, and if not, we're about to say it again. Hey, everybody, it's Pride Month. It is June. You know what that means? It's illegal. It's illegal to be straight. And if you're caught not being gay, you'll be reported to the FBI. I have a contact. So you better start kissing ladies if you're a lady, kissing dudes if you're a dude, and kissing whoever if you're whoever. Because if I'm seeing some cross-kissing...
It's over.
Cross-kissing?
We're going to find you.
That's disgusting.
You better not enjoy a heterosexual kiss this month, I swear to God.
Yeah, no hetero kisses or you're
only gay kisses.
No hetero kisses or you're going to hetero jail.
Yeah, let me tell you why. And you don't like it there, because you know who's there? Vin Diesel on repeat. I did hear, though, that, maybe this is just, like, some, like, industry, you hear all the whispers, but I heard the big Vin Diesel, this is his month, believe it or not.
Wait, what? Is he?
Apparently Vin Diesel is rumored to be not as straight as his brand would lead us to believe.
Oh. I love it.
Again, I want to say that I heard this like third hand, and when you live in Hollywood, you just hear all of it, all the untruths and truths alike. But yeah, I heard that the companionship that he brings upon set share his gender.
I wonder if that's why he was dancing to that Katy Perry song on that Facebook Live one time. Do you know what live
I also have it on good authority, that a certain beloved internet DILF also may play both sides in some capacity.
Certified internet DILF. There's a lot of them.
There is, and I'll just leave it at that. I will say this person has rose in extreme popularity in the last year or two.
I think I know exactly who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
and I also heard that he's not the nicest to staff and crew. But again, this is I'm hearing third hand, from somebody that also heard third hand. But this person is known and touted to be an internet nice DILF.
Wait a minute. Is he somebody that people say you look like?
Yeah.
I want to kill myself right
now. Yeah, I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
That's okay. You know what?
But again, this is all secondhand. This could be all totally fake and fabricated.
And it's all parasocial. You know what?
Yeah, it totally is. I mean, So we'll see. But if I ever work with these people, I'll come back.
Okay.
And I'll let you know for certain.
Be like, bitch, I got the scoop. And I'm like, oh.
Be like, yo, so I met this guy. Turns out, yeah, he is an asshole.
Oh, no.
Or be like, yo, I don't know who was on that. They were just a jealous hater. Loser. So if you're a big time Hollywood actor, A-list, and you listen to this, and you're like, who's this guy who's talking trash? Just know I'm open to my opinion being changed. I'm just sharing the silly gossip.
Yeah, and if you ever meet Kenny from Zoom, you need to let me know. If Kenny,
who is Kenny from Zoom?
You don't listen to this podcast. It's okay.
I'm sorry. It was on my list. This has been a bit of a week.
I really don't care.
Is a inside running joke?
I'll tell you once we're done recording. Which actually, speaking of being an asshole. Hi guys, thank you so much for joining us for the 20th inaugural episode of
Hey, welcome everybody.
Yes, Zach.
Bippity boppity pizza.
Zach, do you have anything that you would like to share with the audience?
Not
to put you on the spot, however.
No, I mean, if you like me, if you want to hear more of me, you can find me online, Zach Cowman. I make silly little videos. And I stream sometimes, and I'm working on a new podcast as well that should be coming at you very soon with another content creator named Dorothy Manini.
Yes!
We don't have a name yet. We just recorded our first episode yesterday.
Ugh.
And yeah, so if you like how silly and much of a loser I am, and you're like, yo, listen to this loser, makes me feel better about my life, then you're in the right place. And, stick around, stick tuned.
Well, essentially, you're here in the loser squad, so you're fitting right in.
You're not a loser, and if you say that again, we're gonna have a big problem.
Okay.
Yeah, and you don't want to have a big problem with me. Let me tell you that right now, because it's gonna be real big.
How big? How big is the problem gonna be?
At least 7.
Okay, noted.
Yeah, that's pretty big, I think.
7 is a pretty big number. Sometimes I don't think I can count past that, so, that's pretty big.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, anyways, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. If you like us, feel free to follow us on Instagram at Between the Fridges. I'm still waiting on you guys to send me an awesome little fan fiction to read on the podcast. I found one, but I'm waiting for you all to...
yeah, what the heck, guys?
Yeah, give me something...
You think this is easy?
Yeah!
Showing up here and talking? Putting yourself out there? The least you guys can do is do our job for us.
Right.
Okay, we gotta beat where all of us humans are against the AI. So we need everyone to help us.
Exactly. So if you have a fan fiction of caliber to Kids Bob Never Leaves or the Barack Obama Sonic fan fiction, which we will read on the podcast eventually, feel free to...
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, feel free to send it to our email address at betweenthefridges@gmail.com. Also, you can check our link tree in the bio of our Instagram to find anywhere and everywhere that you can stream our podcast.
Heck yeah.
Also, please feel free to leave us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And then we will read your review on the podcast, give you a shout out. Incredible. And you don't even have to pay any money to do that.
That's free advertising. I'm going to write a review, and my name is going to be hiremeasanactor.com. And that's free promo.
I'm looking forward to it, and I'll forward it to Kenny from Zoom.
Nice.
So, with all that, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Carly. This is Zach, and we will see you all next week.
You better be back, or I'm going to find you. I know that you're listening right now with no socks on, and so I know things. So you better come back.
You accuse them of leaving the dogs out?
I know. Listen, if you got your dogs out, then you belong here. Woof, woof, woof. Bark, bark, bark. Tune in next week.